Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with If I Could Choose Only One Recording by Artist X, it would have to be Recording Q. Well, Artist X is Wilhelm Furtwängler, and, well, Recording Q is Tristan und Isolde, if only because it's really long. But we'll get into that in a minute. Now, I haven't done anything in this series for a while, and one of you mentioned it and tossed out a couple of names, and I thought, yeah, I think we should revisit this because there are only 40-some-odd videos on the playlist of this, and there are billions of artists, so yeah, we can do lots more. It's not a problem. But yeah, Furtwängler. Now, Furtwängler, as you know, was notoriously averse to making studio recordings, and for, I think, good reason. He was an artist of extraordinary spontaneity, and that spontaneity sometimes worked, and sometimes it didn't. I don't think there's any question that the extraordinary number of live recordings that exist of him are not worthy. Most of them are not worthy, and that he would not have sanctioned their release. He is the beneficiary, if you want to call it that, of a cult that admires him virtually without reservation, and that doesn't do him justice. It's difficult to actually comb through all the garbage to find his best work, but his best work really does stand out because it's extraordinary. It's absolutely tremendous, but you know, it was rare. You had to catch him in good form in the right circumstances, and okay, I mean that's just the way he was. He was universally admired in his lifetime, and deservedly so, on the basis of the acclaim he received from his colleagues and from the evidence of his best recordings. And that's what I think is important, that we remember him by his best recordings, not by all of the dreck that has been opportunistically released in order to make a quick buck off of his reputation. Now, having said that, what are the great Furtwängler recordings? Well, I did a video about that, and it's available for ClassicsToday.com subscribers. It's in the best of insider subscriber series. So if you are a ClassicsToday.com subscriber, you may want to just waltz over there and watch that video. But one of you did ask if you could choose only one, and I get it. It would have to be Tristan. Why? Well, what Furtwängler was best at, in my view, was his ability to project an entire huge structure, to have it all in his head, to know where the climaxes were, to know how to try and shape a large work. And he would do this with extraordinary freedom and flexibility, exactly the kind of flexibility that Wagner asks for in his conducting. You know, one of Wagner's most common instructions is dehnen in his scores. I don't know another composer who uses that word so frequently. Dehnen means stretched. It means to use rubato, actually, you know, in a way to sort of highlight a phrase within the context of a larger musical paragraph. And Furtwängler was absolutely fabulous at doing that. He did it in all of the music that he conducted, whether it benefited from that quality or not. Wagner does benefit from that quality tremendously. And, you know, his only studio opera recording of a complete Wagner opera, well, it's not true. There's two. There's Die Walküre, which he made at the very end of his life, you know, with Martha Mödel and others, which is also very good. He was going to do a complete ring, but he died in 1954 before he could do anything other than Walküre. But Tristan from 1952 is the one to get. It really is. First of all, it is, you know, such an iconic work. I mean, that's number one. It's a major, major masterpiece. You can compare it to other recordings very, very easily and hear what makes Furtwängler's account special, his flexibility in Isolde's big Act 1 narrative, the serenity, but at the same time tension of the Liebesnacht, which rises to just a tremendous climax before, King Mark pops up to bore all of us with his, endless guilt trip. The concluding Liebestod, of course, is magnificent. Tristan's raving is shaped beautifully so as not to seem endless and annoying, even though Ludwig Suthaus in this recording is not the greatest Tristan, but he's much better than he was later on. At this time point in 1952, he was in very good voice. So, and also, let's face it, we have the Isolde as Kirsten Flagstad at the end of her career, yes, but still sounding remarkably potent, a touch matronly, maybe she always was. With the high C's interpolated by Elizabeth Schwarzkopf, famously so, but nobody cares about that. You've got, let's see who else is in here. Some amazing. We had Fischer Dieskau in 1952 as Corvinal, back when he was actually singing instead of hoofing and barking and woofing and panting. Let's see. It's all very good. And you've got the Philharmonia Orchestra, which is in great shape in 1952. Let's not kid ourselves. Furtwängler needed a great orchestra in order to work his magic. He spent most of his life recording with the Vienna Phil and the Berlin Phil, which during the Second World War and immediately thereafter were not in their best shape for a variety of reasons. And I think that we really want to hear him at his best. And in this recording, we do. It's really, 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 really great. Who's Brangana? Is Blanche, what's her name? Blanche Tabaum, who's also quite good. And let's see, King Mark is Joseph Grindel. Oh, wow, he was like a famous guy. And who's Merlot? Melot, whatever his name is, Edgar Evans. All he has to do is like rage and scream and all that stuff. But really, really, really a superb recording, and one that represents the conductor at his best. Each act is a gigantic arc of tension and release, beautifully, beautifully shaped, that culminates effortlessly in the concluding Liebestod. It was very well recorded in mono for its day. It still sounds terrific in terms of balance, and it's got good dynamic range. And I think you really get a chance to hear Furtwängler do what he did best in this performance. So this is the performance I would choose if I could only choose one by Wilhelm Furtwängler. You may have other selections, and feel free to toss them out. Keep on listening, friends. Thanks for joining me. Take care.